being uncomfortable is a safety mechanism our body has adapted to in order to survive. It has got us as far as we are today. So it is nothing to be ashamed of. It is nothing to think that you are different or wrong anytime you experience a feeling of uncomfortability when somebody else doesn't. In this video, I wanted to tell you how it is hindering you and how to get over that hindrance and to face yourself head on. And to face these issues head on when the moment does arise, and how not to, panic. And, I feel like when you're more informed about why you do what you do, navigating life is just so much easier. I think learning about yourself is the most important thing to do in your life. No matter what you're doing, you are stuck with yourself. The only constant in your life is you. So once you can, you don't have to have every answer, but if you just figure yourself out a little bit more and just stick with yourself and don't beat yourself up over things, you are more likely to excel in whatever it is that you want to excel at. So what is uncomfortability? Uncomfortability is just a feeling like any other feeling. It is not you. It does not define you, and it does not make you in any moment. It's just a signal sent to your brain to let you know that something is wrong or could go wrong, or just it's just telling you to watch out. This could be in the form of hunger, depression, anxiety, physical pain, anything that just invokes that sort of feeling of not wanting to do anything or not wanting to do the task at hand, even with no explanation. It's very easy to drown in a specific moment and let it take you over to the point where you don't carry on or push through what it is that you wanted to push through or what you set out for yourself. This is because the only feeling we have is right now, not the past, not the future. The only thing you are experiencing is the now. So when that emotion arises, that is all you're thinking about. It can consume you to the point where you identify yourself with it, and it is so important to separate yourself from that feeling. So number one is, do not shame yourself. If you ever feel uncomfortable, do not shame yourself. That is the most important thing I will say, because shame in itself is a feeling of uncomfortability. You are just fighting the uncomfortable feeling with another uncomfortable feeling. You will never win a battle against yourself, because think about it, it's you versus you. One of you is going to lose. And also, when you do have a battle with yourself, you're getting a reward. This goes very well with addiction. Say you've got an addiction that you want to, today I won't do it. And say you do win that day and you don't do it, you still have got the reward, not from the act of not doing it. It's more that you've won that battle. So the battle will continue on to the next day, and obviously you won't win every single day. And that is what gives you the dopamine spike from it, and that is what gives you that accomplishment feeling, is to continue that battle. So yeah, just a pro tip, if you ever have any sort of issues like that, a very helpful thing, well, for me, was try to not have that battle. Try more just to be at ease with yourself and to let yourself do whatever it is you want to do, because it is that constant battle that elongates the entire process. Okay, that's just a bit of a side note. I think it's best if I talk about uncomfortability as to do with pain and the physical realm, because it's very easy to see what I'm talking about, but it is the same for every single one. But obviously a physical example is, you will know what I'm talking about. So say you wanted to get stronger, or you want to get more flexible. Okay, so you have your zone of what you're currently capable of. If your body sent you a signal after you've reached the point of no return, that would be so pointless, because you've already reached the point of no return. So your body sends the signal of pain, of stop, just before that. It is just a safety mechanism. And once you can see it like that, you can detach yourself from it and go, this is just my body keeping me safe right now. It's just a safety feature. You can be grateful for it as well, if that's, your mojo. You can say, thank you for the pain, thank you for trying to keep me safe, but in your heart of hearts that you're fine and what you can endure. It is just your body warning you. But see, the way we grow to reach near to that point, and then it becomes the new normal, and your body will adapt in every sense of the word physical, mental, spiritual, it will adapt to what we consider normal and safe. Repetition is the way to, you know, get through anything and to make anything part of our identity and comfortable, and just to engulf ourselves with it. It just takes repetition, because once it's been repeated, then our body, on every sense of the word, knows this is okay, this is what we do, this can be what makes us happy. And that's why, as well, even things you know make you actually happy when you're doing them, it can be so hard to start. Or if you know that it's better for you, like eating well, or you know, mine is my painting. Sometimes I really struggle to actually get started with painting, but once I've started painting, I'm in heaven. Like, I'm in such a state of, I just love it. I really, really, really love it. But I don't know, sometimes it is just very hard to get started because it is out of our routine. Because think back to, you know, hundreds of years ago, we didn't have the information we had now. The only way of keeping us safe was, this is different. Think of a food. If you've never eaten this food before, you don't know if it's poisonous. You can Google, hey, is this, you know, mushroom poisonous? So your body would say no. Or you go somewhere different that could be far away from home. Your body was prone to tell you, no, we don't do this, we don't do this. It was literally just to keep you alive. As animals, it's survival of the fittest. So evolution pushed out the people that were comfortable in situations that they shouldn't have been comfortable in, because they died. Not to be like dramatic, but they did. Like, you know, they were mauled or they ate the wrong thing. So that is why we have the sense that we have. And I think once you understand that, it is so much easier to get anything done. Genuinely. An understanding of yourself is so, so important. So with the mental barriers, we have fears and uncertainty. So they're two different things. Uncertainty is something that you've never experienced before, and fears are more something you have experienced before that you didn't have the best encounter with, or the best situation with, or, you know, it didn't lead you to the right place. Your body keeps score of that. And the way your body keeps score of that, so say you did something when you were 3 years old, you might not literally remember, but because you did that thing, you've avoided it your whole life, and then that's become your character. So you might not know why you avoid whatever you avoid, or you know, act the way you act, but it's still there nonetheless. Like, a lot of stuff does come from childhood, because it's just the way that we've continued to act again and again and again and again. And obviously childhood, when your brain is most malleable, because you have nothing in there. So say we have like a field around us, it's infinite field, you know, infinite, you know, fears, possibilities, or whatever it is. The only way to push past these barriers and to become someone different, if you're not happy with yourself and you want to become someone different in any way, you will for a fact become uncomfortable. For a fact. Different is what ignites that feeling. It's not wrong. It's not wrong, and it's not like not your path. I feel like that's the thing as well, when you're like, oh, this doesn't feel right, so this isn't right for me. You know, maybe it isn't. There's some things that is genuinely the case, but you have to actually do the work of exploring and figuring out why you feel this way. Do you feel this way because it's not right for you, or do you feel this way because you've been conditioned, or you're fearing something that is irrelevant? Maybe you're scared of facing someone, you're scared of social interactions, you're scared of not being good enough. There is an answer to all of these questions, but you have to actually do the work and face it head on. Never shame yourself. Change just takes acknowledgement, and it takes self-reflecting. So in order to expand that bubble, you have to get to these points and pass through them just as you would your physical body. You know, weightlifting, you have to do the mental lifting, and you have to do the spiritual lifting as well. And also another point is, your mind and your spirit are two different things, okay? So most people think that the thoughts in their head, that voice in their head, is them. Think about it. That's not you. You're listening to that. Like, even right now, talk to yourself in your head. There's that voice, and there's somebody listening. You are the being that is listening. When you become uncomfortable, it's that voice that talks, and you might feel actual feelings of, you know, anxiety or pain, and that can spread everywhere. Like, your heart could get faster, you could start sweating, you could go red. I always go red, and I'm going red right now. All very, very, very real things, but it is crucial in order for change. That's it. That's all it is. So when that moment arises, just remind yourself that that isn't you. That feeling is not you. That voice is not you. You need to be comfortable and you need to accept that these feelings are going to happen. And everyone's bubble is different. Everyone's bubble is so different. Like, maybe there's something that is so easy, like it could be such a mundane task, like especially when you go through a depression, your bubble obviously changes because, you know, you're more comfortable with doing certain things and your body is releasing such, you know, negative thoughts and fears. Your bubble becomes smaller because you're more engulfed with fears. So it could be hard to get out of bed. It can be hard to do normal day-to-day activities. And I think when we shame people for that, or when we shame ourselves, it's good to compare yourself to others in the sense of what is possible. So if someone's achieved something incredible, you know that is possible for a human, or if they can do it, I can do it, but not in the sense of beating yourself up, in the sense of, if they can do it, why can't I do it? I'm not good enough. You're adding more fears and you're keeping yourself more stuck. Their situation is just different. They grew up in a different environment. They grew up with different fears, or they overcame different fears. And even you can even go the other way of, people have it so much worse than me and they can still get out of bed and they can still do this and that. That is because they have experienced a different life. So their body reacts differently to different things. Like, even the most, you know, even your idol, the most incredible person, whoever you look up to, they have their own fears, but it could be in a different part of their life that you don't struggle with in the slightest. And you couldn't even comprehend struggling with that because that is just how you've been molded. And that's not your fault, you know. What you've experienced is not your fault. And how you've reacted from until now, it's not your fault for not knowing, you know. All you need to do is explore and accept. And like I said, do not compare yourself in the sense of why. Don't ask yourself, why can't I do this? Why am I not good enough? You need to say, I am capable. There is something in my way. I need to figure out what it is. I need to face whatever it is head on. And another thing as well, you will, if you do not do this, you will encounter the same situations over and over again. I feel like most people think that's because, like, life's teaching you a lesson, you need to learn this and that, and that could be true. Like, obviously I don't know. that could be the case, but my reasoning behind it is more, you face the same issue because it's the wall you're hitting. So you wouldn't have come to this issue if you faced your fear ages ago, because you haven't done enough self-reflecting to know the signs or to know where it's heading because you didn't face it. You know, have you ever had a situation where you know you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, but obviously you're not facing the consequences right now? And like, usually this is more like a relationship thing. You're like, oh, I know I shouldn't talk to this person, or I know this is going to end bad, rah, 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 and it does. But then you do it again because you haven't actually faced your fear. Maybe it's fear of validation, not being good enough, or you know, using relationships to cope with other fears you have. You know, it is so different for everyone, and again, it is so important that you take the time to explore this yourself. This is a problem we face everywhere. My last point is, we are in a society where everything is the most comfortable it has ever been, and yet we are the most paralyzed. We are the most, you know, we are known to have the like worst work ethic, not being able to get things done, crazy screen time hours. You would think if we have access to the most stuff, we'd be the happiest generation, considering we have food. Well, if you're lucky enough, I'll say that. If you're lucky enough to have food, shelter, anything in means of survival or family, you know, all the basics, yet we're not. And that is because we have pushed ourselves to a point where we are too comfortable, that the wall we have created is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because we don't need to face these things like fending for food, or, you know, we can just sit in our bed and sit on our phone and get everything we want. We can get you know, food, we can go to the bathroom, we can, you know, you can even do your work from your phone now. Like, we are capable of just sitting in our bed on our phone, and we have adapted to take the path of least resistance because, again, it's a survival. If it's easier and we know it works, great. But we're not actually experiencing what it means to live because we are creating more fears for ourselves and more uncertainty because we're doing less, we're experiencing less, we are building it up more, and we're not conditioning ourselves to live a normal life. And that is why it's so much harder, and that is why depression is skyrocketing, anxiety especially is skyrocketing, and we've kind of all developed this sort of like, oh, I'm not bothered, I don't care mindset. We're losing what it means to live because things are too easy. Things are way too easy. And I have a theory that as like celebrities, the luxury is going to be living a normal life with no phone. Literally, like, I know this is like but like farming, like there's a weird thing about food coming back in as trends, like as an accessory. You know, it's going to be a luxury to experience life because we are so conditioned and so fear-mongered not to. And fear-mongering is very real. Depressions, like Great Depressions, have, you know, swept away societies and empires and literally taken people out and put like nations on pause, all because of mental fear with things that are intangible, like money, like that, which that shouldn't have a physical effect on health, but it literally stopped society because people were afraid. So think of what all these fears are doing to you as one person. You know, like a lot of the stuff you do see on your phone is a lot of fearful stuff and a lot of judgmental stuff. You know, you see all these incredible people doing incredible things, and you don't take that as a notion to act. You take that as, I am not capable, I am just sitting on my phone. And when you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough or you're not as good as these people, you stop doing other things in your life because you don't feel yourself as worthy. And again, like I said, you have to actually do the work to figure out that is a problem, or if that is the problem, and to overcome these things. So yeah, make sure to break outside of your comfort zone. Try genuinely searching for what makes you uncomfortable, because you can't have comfortability without uncomfortability. It would not be a thing. So if you want to have the most comfortable life possible, search for things that make you uncomfortable. They will become comfortable, they will become the norm, and you will just live a much better life if you just really try on whatever journey it is to eliminate fears. And whatever way you do that, some people do that through spiritual enlightenment, which is just like not listening to it and not letting it in, which is incredible. Do that if that's what you want to do. So like, do that. But other people do it by facing them head on. So whatever way you decide to do it, just make sure you do it, and make sure to know that it is normal, it is inevitable, it is helpful for survival, even though you might think it's not, it might not feel like it sometimes. And just know that that feeling will not last forever. That moment of uncomfortability does not make you you. How you react is what makes you you. You are strong enough, you've got this, and remember to stay educated and look after yourself for me, okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, I have other videos on this channel. I've been gone for a little bit. I never really introduced myself. My name is Connie. I like to make these videos because I like to have a better understanding of myself, and it has helped me tremendous. I genuinely think all we are trying to do in this life is understand why people do the things they do, how things work. Even if you have a job, you're just trying to understand how to work and how to make the best life and how to feel the best and to treat others well, or even in relationships. It's all about understanding. I like to make these videos on what I've learned and what helps me. So if you're interested and you did enjoy, press the subscribe button wherever the subscribe button is. Make sure to stick around, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.